Come on, you old man.
Great, gracious and heavenly Father, I thank you for allowing us to be here. And Jesus, it's just been a great event. These kids have been out having fun playing football on the concrete. Thank you for keeping them all safe and sound. Jesus, as we go into the next part of this lesson, I just hope that each and every one of them find some compassion in their heart. I have the hardest leg in my part of the journey on this, and bless me to say the right words. Ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
So, suicide. Y'all know that it's hit me inside my family. And as I got ready yesterday, about a dozen different people have been hurt by it in the past few months. One of the people happens to be, and some of y'all know Little Weston, my son's best friend. His aunt committed suicide Christmas morning, and her kids came home to find her. And so we need to keep Devin and Wilma and their family in prayer as they go through this. And I almost started I started to ditch this topic, and God wouldn't let me. And as I was talking to some of my friends, one of the moms of one of my former students said to me, I have to live with this every day. I still don't understand what happened. I still can't tell you why. Gentleman got on about my age, and I knew the second that he came on screen that I needed to friend request him, and he said, "Oh my goodness, I can't believe you're talking about suicide." One of my best friend's daughter tried to commit suicide a few weeks ago. There are people at 10 years old, you can't have that much stress in your life that at 10 you would start thinking about suicide. But they do.
Is it just stress that causes suicide?
Do what?
Is it just stress that causes suicide?
Stress brings on a lot of it.
Bullying.
Bullying,
Depression.
depression, finances,
Anger.
anger. There's a million things. And as,
They're jealous.
huh?
Well,
Sometimes they're bullied, you're right. Sometimes they're bullied by gangs.
By what?
Sometimes they're bullied by entire gangs.
okay, Bar. When I came back from Afghanistan, I had a buddy who really went talking to anybody, and he got in all sorts of trouble. Well, he went downtown and rented a hotel room.
I wish I had
40 stories up and jumped.
Oh
Had
my
three
goodness.
kids and a wife.
Yeah.
We just gotten back, and then my other real good buddy,
No, you
a
didn't.
month and a half after we got back, before he went home, she committed suicide. So
Wow.
yeah, it was.
It happens to all ages of people. Sometimes health risk bring it on. And I want you guys to hear this. When I was in 7th grade, my grandfather committed suicide. I couldn't understand why he left me. But then I began to think, and I began to see some of the things that happened. The first time that he actually tried, he laid down on the floor in the garage, and my grandma came home from town getting groceries one Friday and ran over him in her car. Car was too high to do any damage to him. A few weeks later, he took it, closed the garage door and started up his truck and just sat in there with it. He's the best swimmer in the family, and yet he went to the pond and tried to swim and drowned. And so guys, we've got to watch all of our friends. We don't know what their home life's like. We've got to do our all-fired best to be sure that they don't make these mistakes. We don't want them to do these kind of things. And some of them do it because they don't think anybody loves them anymore. They don't think anybody would miss them if they were gone. Now, I want to read a letter. And this letter is come to me from one of my former youth whose husband committed suicide. And I'm going to challenge you guys after I read this. I'm going to omit the children's names. Dearest son and daughter, what wonderful young children you both have been this year. It is with my utmost pleasure to inform you that both of you have been placed on the nice list this year. Congratulations, as this is not an easy task. I'm fully aware of what you've asked for from the elves and I hope that you are to be satisfied with my delivery. However, I have been given the extraordinary request this year, and it's from a special someone very close to your heart. You know him as your daddy. He asked me to send you something very special from him. He wants me to let you know that he's very proud of both of you. He asked me to tell you that he has seen your perfect 105s on each of your spelling tests. He sees what an excellent reader you are. Keep it up on the reading points. He is so proud of the straight A second grader you are. He also sees what long legs you are getting, and my goodness, lastly, he wants you to know that you're the most beautiful girl in the entire universe. Son, Daddy wants me to tell you he is proud of you on the perfect 100s on your spelling test as well. You have wonderful handwriting, and boy, oh boy, what a great shot you are with your BB gun. He also noticed what a handsome young man you are and how much you've been eating to keep it up, because you will be big and strong one day. Most important thing, he wants to let you know that he loves you too more than anything in the entire world. And he will always love you even though you cannot see him. Returning to his request, he asked me to deliver to you his star. He knows that when night falls and the sky is dark, you and your mommy will be able to locate this star and know that it's Daddy. So tonight, I've left you with the star. I've given you a telescope along with a certificate detailed with coordinates so that Mommy can help you find it in the night. It is now yours to find and yours to keep. Remember, the sky is always there, just like Daddy. If at any moment you doubt this, look up and find my star. I must go now. I have much work to do. Remember, I'm always watching and hope to see you next year. Merry Christmas, Santa Claus. What a special, and this part is from the wife to the husband. What a special, meaningful gift. My favorite by far. I just wish that you could be here with us instead of in heaven. Selfish, I know, but I still wish that day after day, time and time again, another Christmas without you, but I know you've seen all the excitement our little ones enjoy. We miss you and we love you. Happy holidays, my sweet. I couldn't imagine getting on the internet yesterday and finding that letter and having this topic. Some of you may even know exactly who I was talking about. And as I spoke to the wife, she said, if this will help anybody, I want you to read it and share it. I spoke to the mother of the son, and she said, I hurt every single day of my life. I don't want this to have to happen to anyone. Of all the people that could have committed suicide, I never dreamed that this young man would be the one. I never saw it. I talked to him a couple of days before that happened. I just, man, it hit me like a ton of bricks. I couldn't believe it. I got mad. I wanted to call suicide out in the street. And it won't face up to me. All the fights I've been in, it won't face up to me. I'd whip it in the street and no one would ever have to go through it again. It hurts that this was my friend and my loved one. I remember holding this same person in my arms the day he came home from the hospital. I hold my son Jake. I've held Devin's son Weston. And I'm going to challenge each of you tonight. If you ever have this thought, if you ever put this thought in your mind, I'm going to challenge each and every one of you. Before you think you can do this, you've got to walk up to my son, or walk up to Devin's son, and tell them goodbye. I couldn't do it. There's no way. But I'm going to challenge all of y'all to not have these thoughts. If you find somebody that's having these thoughts, that you'll call me, because there's no reason for it. There's no reason that people can't be loved. There's no reason that we can't care for people. There's no reason that we can't help them through whatever it is they're going through. The young man that went to Arapahoe High had felt bullied by his teacher. You can't do that. You know, I'll pick on you guys sometimes, but know that I'm picking on y'all because I love you. I don't pick on y'all because of any other reason. I joke with y'all, and There's nothing that I've been through in the ministry so far that we can't deal with. Hard thing to deal with is death. Those things are tough. Those things cost a lot of money. Last week when we were finishing up enrollment at our insurance agency, I ran into one of my friends, and she jokingly told me, she said, "You can't believe my niece." And I said, "Oh, I bet I can." She said she's 15 years old now. But I remember the day that her mom told me just as vividly as I'm sitting here today, she said, "I'm going to go to a party." And I said, "No, don't go." And she got raped. And I'm telling you guys what, if we can deal with that, there's not a problem that you guys can come up with that's that tough. There's nothing that's that bad. And I'm going to tell you, we're going to deal with them. We may have to tell your dad that you had an F in school or college. We may have to tell your dad that, hey, you wrecked the truck. We may have to tell your dad that, but don't make me go up on your porch and have to tell him that you ain't coming home again. That's tough. I've been down that trail before. And I've been down that trail before with my youth group where I have to come in the next morning and go, "Hey, look, so-and-so ain't coming back. We live in heaven now." It ain't easy. And I'd like to say, I got the best job in the world. I do, because I'm teaching you guys about Jesus. We learned, started in July and went clear through November learning about love. And you guys have developed friendships and relationships with each other that should last a lifetime. We found out love had nothing to do with dating. We found out love had nothing to do with sex. We found out love does have to do with learning who you are first, being comfortable with yourself. And when you're comfortable with yourself, hey, you're not going to have these thoughts of suicide. You know somebody you think they've got thoughts of suicide, hey, we need to find them something to do. Hey, Carly's got plenty of farm work. We got plenty of farm work at our house. Sierra, you got plenty of farm work at your house.
Yep, hauling hay, chopping wood, got tons of that.
Yeah. Find them something to do.
Well,
Get them away from home. Maybe their home life's eating them up.
First employee.
Man, my home life beat me up. But remember what I said in our last sermon? Remember what I said in our last Thursday night sermon?
Yeah.
I took the bully fishing with me. I took the bully fishing with me. Hang on, Brandon. I was getting out of my house so I could get away from the screaming and hollering and shouting that was going on when my parents were contemplating divorce. No kid should have to hear that. No kid should have to go through those things. And they're hard. They hurt. But guess what? Life goes on. Life goes on. I thought nobody would miss me. God had a huge plan for me because He wanted me to be able to walk away from all of this ugliness and share it with you so no one else ever has to be hurt again. You can't imagine what it does to the family. You can't imagine the stupendous cost it is. Not only that the family is left with a huge financial burden of burying you, And that's just at the least, that's just the least of it. That's just the least of the worries. For the rest of their lives, they're going to be wondering, what could I have done to make things different? Why me? Why did this happen to me? I don't want anybody to have to feel those thoughts. I don't want anybody to have to go through that. I couldn't believe that my role model left me. Person that taught me how to ride horses, person that taught me how to be a cowboy. I couldn't, as I would go on to do other tasks sometimes, I felt just like the mother that wrote this letter, got this letter from Santa Claus, got this letter in her house. And there were times that I would feel my grandpa direct me to do tasks that I couldn't do. Did I know that this was going to bring tears to some of y'all's eyes? Yeah, I knew it would. But you know what? We got to be tough. We got to man up. Mike,
We got a lot of that.
Kyle, there are things that your dad Mike has seen I can't even imagine. There are things that our firefighters see that you just can't imagine. There are things that they have to go through that you just can't imagine. There are things that our veterans go through that you just can't understand, you just can't imagine. Some of them would wake up at night, cold sweat, hearing things that they heard, or thinking things are going on that they heard while they were in war. You can't imagine. So kids, there's nothing that I won't face with you. You think of the worst possible thing that you could go through that we'd have to go tell your dad, I'll go face up to him with you. I hope we don't ever have to do any of these things. But as children of God, we got to be ready. I don't want nothing happening in our schools like happened in Arapahoe High. And like I said earlier, the problem ain't solved because it wasn't 8 blocks away from Columbine. So nobody's fixed the problem. We've had school shootings here in Oklahoma. We've had,
Lots of them in Colorado.
yeah,
That's what he's-
and here's the
We
deal.
can get people down in Colorado, missionaries.
Here's the thing. We got to do something to change it. You guys are the young people. You guys are in school. You guys see some of these people. Are there people like that in Crescent School?
People
Yeah.
like that everywhere.
There are people like that in Mulhall School. They're in Guthrie School. There have been several times that it could have very easily been Guthrie School.
Last year.
Yeah, last year. Just one for instance. Just one for instance. I'll never forget being up there at school working one day, and there was a certain special ed student, and me and one of the coaches, both. We were both. He was back, well, I was chest to chest with this kid, and he was chest to back with me. And this was a huge football coach, and this guy was pushing us both backwards because some kid had pushed him, and he was ready to fight. Look at me. I'm over 300 pounds.
Nah.
Other coach, close to it. And this guy's pushing us. He is so mad. And finally, I got through to him. I'm like, look, here's what's going to happen. Finally, he kind of shook his head and come to realization. He's like, thanks, K-Bar. Other coach is looking at me and he's going, I've never seen anybody with so much power in my life. Guy that they made angry was about Gary's side. Pushing a guy like me and a guy like the other football coach around. I mean, it was like a dope bulldozer. But I was able to calm the young man down. Man, when you see your friends start to get mad, start to get upset, hey, do something about it. Help calm them down. If you got a phone, call me. And you got to give these guys something to do so they'll feel worthy. They have something that they... and I tell you, if a lot of these people had some responsibilities and knew the responsibility, feeding animals. Carly, who's going to feed your animals if you were gone?
Huh?
Who's going to feed your animals if they're gone?
Bailey and Dad?
Yeah. Now they got twice as much work if you're not there. So you find these kids at your school that are having trouble, don't know what to do. Bring them home with you.
Hey, you know what I do when Brittany's not gone? When Brittany's gone at school? Her chores.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Ty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So,
Back for you. Now,
Yeah.
Ty,
Enjoy.
there's probably some kids at your school that if they went out there and fed some bulls with you for a
Oh,
while,
gosh.
it'd do them some good, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Freak out.
Absolutely.
They might be scared.
Huh?
They'll probably be scared the first time.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's got some bulls that you should be scared of. But
In
hey,
the bullpen, fucking
even feeding the horses, scooping the horse poop, somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to do it. And there'll be kids that'll go, Ty, I can't believe you scoop horse poop. Well, if I didn't do it, who would? You know, I'm gonna tell you something else. You know, I always said I wasn't gonna change diapers until I had a son of my own. It don't bother me because I don't want him to stay in them.
yeah,
You know, Gary was teasing Jake this morning. He said, "Oh, you are so." What was the word you used?
I think I said he was so pitiful or something.
Yeah.
He was crying like he had it. The
He was
world's
crying
worst.
like he had it bad,
Oh, I
and
said
I'm
he was
like,
he was so
so
used.
mistreated.
Yeah, that's what.
And I'm like, son, if you could see mistreated and knew what some of the other parents did, there are kids that their parents haven't got up and given them a bath this morning. There's parents that haven't got up and fed them. There are parents that haven't got up and changed their diapers.
Apparently, little Bo, he thinks that if you're told to go to your room, you are completely tortured, and you should probably call 911.
Well, you know what?
Oh,
Come on.
You know what? I'm gonna tell you something. Sometimes what we need is somebody that loves us and cares for us and is willing to say, "Hey, LJ, you screwed up, buddy. What are you gonna do to fix that? What do you think your punishment ought to be?"
no roping for 2 weeks.
Wow, that'd be an ugly
They'll
punishment,
be grounded.
huh?
They'll be grounded.
Okay, well,
They've
I
been
mean,
grounded my life.
but I'm saying, hey, you mind though?
Yeah, he's spanking.
Okay.
He's spanking.
Do you think that shows mom and dad's love for you?
Yeah.
What, you know, I'm debatable by that. You know, my son, one of the things that he thinks is funny is if I walk in without a shirt on, he will give me a purple nurple. Oh my gosh. And his tiny little fingers and his sharp little fingernails. Oh my goodness. He did that to me one day and I'm like, locked and loaded, buddy. Don't do that again. and I thumped his little fingers and he cried.
You feel bad.
I thumped his little fingers and he cried. But guess what? He knows when I say that I'm locked and loaded. He knows when I say no now. That I'm not telling him no because I hate him. I'm telling him no because I don't want him to get hurt. And guys, I don't want you guys to get hurt. I don't want you guys to be in trouble. But hey, I've literally told some of my friends and or their parents, send them to my house to chop cedar trees. You want to feel the punishment? Well, and Gary, I didn't ask you to chop cedar trees because I thought you needed any punishment. Heck,
Hey, I feel
Well, chopping and using a chainsaw is completely different.
Yeah.
Because I
Chainsaw don't bother me.
but hey,
chop cedar.
you know,
Okay.
any of y'all, and parents, hear me say this, and I'm looking you right in the camera, right eye to eye. These boys and girls get in trouble, and you want to give them some punishment. They can always come to K-Bar's house and get an axe and chop cedar trees.
First you gotta repair your old one.
Oh,
Then
yeah,
I may
that
have
axe
broke-
that Brandon broke.
No, I think there's
Okay,
one on the
I
back of
broke
the one
it
ton.
Using it the right way.
I thought there was one on the back of your truck.
Yeah, there
I
is.
thought there's one on the back of
There
your
is,
one
there
ton.
is a good one on the back of
Yep.
my 1 ton. There's a brand new one in the kill box.
That I'm
Yep.
probably not going to use because
Now,
I break every single tool.
As we
Using it the right way.
As we close in this, know that I'm always gonna be there for you. I'll come get you when times are hard. I'll come try to help explain to mom and dad what happened. There's nothing too bad that we can't face.
True.
Now,
Go to the press, take a fishing.
Ty, if I have to walk up on the porch and say, Billy, can we talk a little bit? I'd rather do that than have to walk up on Billy's porch and say, hey, you know, I wasn't there when Ty needed me.